There are people every day that would kill to move their bodies the way you do. Most of us looked forward to it. You're like, dude, I can't wait till football practice. I was a wrestler, so I can't wait till wrestling practice. I look forward to it. I looked forward to torture myself and go through the pain because I enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy the pain. I'm not telling you you're going to enjoy the pain. You're not. But I enjoyed what was on the other side. I'm going to challenge you that you do view exercise as a chore, because the things that you look forward to in your life, you make time for. People make time for what's most important. What's going on, everybody? My name's Stefan Coons, and welcome to the Everyday Pursuit podcast. Man, okay, last episode was from our Facebook training, and I'm going to throw those in once in a while because I spit some fire back in my day. No, they're not that long ago. But the trainings were in our private Facebook group. They're very powerful. And honestly, you could probably tell from the last episode, if you haven't checked it out, go listen to it. But they're basically like a podcast anyway. So, killed two birds with one stone. I'm all about efficiency. And that actually ties in a little bit to this episode. I think for me, a lot of the conversations I have when it comes to people being consistent on their fitness journey, one of the number one excuses or reasons, whatever you want to label them, is people will say, busy, I don't have time, I don't have money. Like, okay, we all know those. But what about excitement? Now, people will say I'm unmotivated, and I get that kind of is in this realm, but I'm going to challenge you with a question. Do your workouts feel like a chore? Honestly, do they? When you think about going and training, is it like, what are some things that you don't like? Doing the dishes, doing laundry, going grocery shopping, probably all three of those. But for some people, you probably have some things in your life. Just think about it real quick. You probably have some things in your life that you do that other people would consider kind of a chore, maybe like a pain in the butt, but you actually don't mind. It reminds me of my grandpa used to mow the lawn. And mowing the lawn is obviously a chore. It's a job, but he loved it. It was like, he actually looked forward to it. He's like, oh, it's relaxing to me. It's therapeutic. And also when he got done mowing the lawn, he looked at it and he had this fresh, the lines in the grass, and it looked good, and he could take pride in his home. Right. So for him, sure. Maybe there's some days that went by where he didn't really want to mow the lawn, but I bet you, out of 100 times, maybe 3, maybe 5 times he felt like that. Most of the time he's like, I can't wait to mow my lawn. And I feel like with people's fitness journey, it's so much of a chore. That's why you guys are avoiding it. And I used to be there 100,000%. I used to look at my workouts as a box I had to check, and it was a pain in the butt. Now, pause for a second. Do I ever get that feeling now as a fitness coach after lifting for 17 years? Yes, a little bit, but I also do this for a living. Okay. So, and if you ask any other fitness coach, sometimes when you take your passion and you also do it for a living, it kind of makes it lose a little bit of zest. But a couple of years ago during the pandemic, when all the gyms were shut down and I worked as a project manager, I loved the gym. I could not wait, because that's what I wasn't doing full time. So do I go through some times where I'm like, man, I got to get my workout in? Sure. But actually, here's the thing. As I get older and the busier I get in kids and life stress, it is just a mental break for me. I talk to a lot of people in our programs, cops, firefighters, military, EMS, and they say to me, Coach Stefan, when I'm in the gym, it's my time. It's like my thing. I feel good. It's kind of almost like, mental health medication in a way, as far as it helps me with my anxiety. It helps combat a little bit of depression. I just feel better when I train. And here's the thing. We all look forward to watching TV and relaxing and getting dopamine releases and being comfortable and getting off work and kicking your feet up. We look forward to basically these mental thumbs up, right? Things that make you feel good. Well, so does exercise. And I think we're looking at the hard work that it takes to get to that feeling. And we're just so focused on it. It's going to be tiring. I'm going to be so sore. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And we look at all the negative, and it's there, it's real. But here's the thing. If you went to work every day, and I hope this isn't you, because I also used to be there, and you're like, this job sucks. It's miserable. I hate it. But I'm just going to go because I really want the money. Like that may be you, but here's the thing. You still go, right? And you don't go because you love your job. You might love your job, but like also you go because there's a reward. If your job was completely free, maybe you wouldn't do it, right? Maybe you would. I know we have some volunteer firefighters and stuff. Maybe you just love what you do and that's awesome. But for most people, you're getting a reward. Even as a volunteer, you're getting just the another dopamine release, pride, and I'm serving my community, and it's still a good feeling that you get rewarded for, right? And people maybe patting you on the back, like there's still a positive thing. When it comes to your workouts, I want to challenge you to not focus on how hard it's going to be or oh, I got to squeeze it in or making time. Think of it as a gift. And I know you guys have heard this. It might sound like cliche or whatever, but there are people every day that would kill to move their bodies the way you do. I'm serious. There's people that are wheelchair bound. There's people that have mental disabilities. There's people that were born with crazy physical disabilities. There's people that just don't have access to a gym. There's people that don't have clean food and water. I mean, these are basic things, right? But we just take them for granted. And if you've never been, and for me, I have no idea what that's like. Okay. I'm not trying to say I've been there, but I have been severely injured to the point where I didn't know if I'd ever be able to really lift weights again the way I used to. I had a really bad disc injury. I've blown out my knees. And during that time, you realize, I'm like, when I hurt my back, I really couldn't do anything for like a few months. Like, not really. I'm like, I would kill to go to the gym and get a good workout in. Like, I would give anything. And if you've ever been injured or had surgery or been down, you know what I'm talking about. But yet, when we get better, we don't actually do that, right? Like when we're sick, we'd say, I'll give anything to be better. But then you have all this opportunity when you're not sick and when you're not hurt and you're not bound to a wheelchair or a hospital bed or recovering at home from your surgery or injury, and you don't even take action. And I honestly think the mental barrier, sure, time, money, kids, whatever, your career, and those are the biggest barriers. But here's the thing. You need to start looking at your working out as a you time, number one, especially if you have like kids in a busy life. Like dad gets his time, mom gets his time or gets her time. Like this is just my space, this is just me. And I do think we need to work on ourselves away from everybody, quiet, reserved. We all need a little bit of alone time. Some people need more, some people need less. I'm a social person. I actually don't really like being alone, but I do like training alone for the most part. When I go in the gym, I'm like, this is my 1 hour-ish that I'm really focusing on myself. I'm blocking out the rest of the noise of the world. And in this freaking day and age, we need to, because here's the thing. If you are in the realm of, the everyday hero community, I know you have probably one of the most stressful lives. And you put like kids and a family and dogs and a house and everything your life demands on top of that. I can only imagine. When I was in the military, I was under a ton of stress and I needed the gym. I needed the gym. I needed it for a mental thing more than anything else. And you know what? I looked forward to going like a little kid looking forward to go to practice. Now, if you never played sports, maybe you don't know what that feels like. But here's the thing. For those of us who have, imagine, close your eyes for a second. Just think back to when you were a child, high school, whatever, and you knew you had like sports practice after or whatever. It could be like piano, whatever. Most of us looked forward to it. You're like, dude, I can't wait till football practice. I was a wrestler, so I can't wait till wrestling practice. I look forward to it. I looked forward to torture myself and go through the pain because I enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy the pain. I'm not telling you you're going to enjoy the pain. You're not. But I enjoyed what was on the other side, the victory, the pushing myself, the growing. Even at a young age, I realized this is hard. And when I'm done, I feel good. I don't really know what it is. I don't understand neuroscience, but like I feel good after practice. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself because I followed through. I didn't care about how sweaty and tired and dirty and all those other things. Those were so temporary. You know what's permanent? You know what's like, not permanent, but it's a lot more permanent than going to the gym is the body you have and the mindset you create by not taking action and by making training a chore. Like think about it. At a subconscious level, working out is a pain in the ass for you. It is an inconvenience. It is a nuisance. It is not something you want to do. And if you really have to, at the very last resort, you'll go to the gym and you'll maybe do it. And if there's no other food on this earth, you'll maybe meal prep. I mean, what a negative way of thinking about your training, like, and your nutrition. And here's the thing. If that's you, it's okay. There's work to be done. But I'm going to tell you right now, you will struggle for the rest of your life to stay in shape forever. Forever. You know why? Because it is a pain in the butt to you. It is this negative thing. And when it's a negative and when it's this inconvenience, you know how easy it is to blow it off? I mean, just imagine it, right? Like one little inconvenience happens. Oh, I hurt my knee. Oh, guess I'm not going to the gym. Like you were just waiting for that excuse. Oh yeah, the grocery store, or oh, my kid needed some help on homework. Guess I couldn't go shopping to meal prep. Oh, too bad. You didn't want to do it anyways, right? And what we do is we find these excuses because it's negative. Let me flip the script because I've seen people go through this transition. I actually know some cops in our program personally that are now my friends that went through this where they hated the gym. It was negative. It was something that was a pain in the butt to them. They didn't really like to cook. They didn't really like to meal prep. And now they say, I don't even know, like I can't imagine my life not going to the gym. If I miss a day or a couple days, I feel like I'll go crazy. Bingo. Like that tells me they like it. Like it has become such a part of who they are that they look forward to it. Do you think they're going to ever really have to have mental battles of, do I want to go to the gym? For the most part, no. That's because that's who they are. For me, I can't imagine my life not going and exercising for a week. I would go crazy. That's how I feel. I'd probably have a lot more anxiety, depression. Like it would not be good. So you know what? I know that for the rest of my life, I'll continue to be in shape. To me, and I would say 70 to 80% of the time, I'm really excited about training for the day. Okay. Now, does that take time to get there? 100%. I'm not saying, oh, join a program or all of our clients join and they're just super excited day one. But I'll tell you what, before they make the commitment and the investment, every time I could tell it's a chore. It's something they're struggling with consistent. As soon as they get in the program, within a couple of weeks, they start to lose weight. They start to build muscle. They actually have a program and they feel good. Why? They had a plan. They had a plan they could emotionally buy into. They jumped on the plan. They executed and they saw results. And now their brain path actually starts to change. And they go, you know what? Wow, this isn't a waste. This is a good use of my time. I'm looking better. I'm feeling better. My life is improving. What do you know? Right? And this was there all along, but they didn't do it consistent enough to make change. And what happens is over months and months and months, or maybe a year's time, that just becomes who they are and part of their life. And not only have they changed their physique, which obviously people come in and they want to look good, like I'm all down for that, but they change their narrative, the internal narrative in their head with themselves about how they look at their workouts. We had one of our client, David Miller, shout out, lost 75 pounds in a year. I know when he first started working out, he was like, no, avoidant, not his thing. And now he looks forward to it. And because he lost so much weight, it is undeniable proof that it works when he stays consistent. I had an interview with him. He's like, everything in my life has gotten better. Everything in my life. So now he did something, right? We don't even have to exercise, okay? Just imagine this. You did X, whatever that is. And now your result is Y. And the result is really, really good. Do you want to keep doing X that gave you the good result? Of course you do. That just happens to be prioritizing your health, exercising, all those things. So here's my final thought on this, because I don't want to just beat a dead horse. If you are somebody where exercise is a chore, and if you're like, well, is it? Well, here's the thing. Do you go consistently 3 to 5 days a week after week, without fail, basically? Like, I'm talking about all year long. If no, I'm going to challenge you that you do view exercise as a chore, because the things that you look forward to in your life, you make time for. People make time for what's most important. Do you make time to go hang out with your friends? Probably. Do you make time to go hang out with your family? Yes, because you love them and they're important. I would just challenge you that you don't love exercise and it's not important to you. If it was, you would do it consistently. And if you're struggling to create that, like, how do I get working out to be fun? You have to go through some grueling times and show up even when you don't feel like it, over and over and over and over and over again, until you start to reap the benefit. Even when you don't feel like it, right? You just go and you just grind and you white knuckle it for a little bit. And then you lose 5 pounds and you're like, okay, I think maybe this is working. And then you lose a little bit more and you gain some muscle and you gain some strength. And then your body's like, okay, this is legit. Here we go. and then you build momentum and you get excited. But do you have to grind and be uncomfortable and feel a little bit dumb in the gym maybe, or not know what you're doing or figure things out with nutrition? Yes, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's not really a secret. Every single person had to go through that phase. So don't make that your excuse. Well, it's really uncomfortable. Yeah, so it was for me too. Everybody you see that's jacked and ripped had to go through the same thing. You are not special. They're not special. And that's a bad excuse. I'm going to call you out right now. That's a terrible excuse. Of course it's uncomfortable. The first 30 days at your job, 60 days, was it uncomfortable? Of course it was. You didn't know anything. You probably felt super stressed. You felt like you were drowning over your head with so much information. Now, how do you feel? Probably like it's just another day. It's the same thing with everything new in your life. It's uncomfortable, but people don't grow in comfort. And you know that, and I know that. So you need to get a little bit uncomfortable, and then you need to white knuckle past the discomfort until you can emotionally buy into your program and whatever you're doing and be like, wow, this is working. And I promise if you stick with it and you're diligent, it will be worth it, because you'll make this shift. It's a mountain, right? It's all uphill. And then you see this peak. The peak is so small compared to this side and this side, right? Of the mountain. The peak is tiny, but most people give up and they just start to slide backwards. But if you can make it over that peak, if you can get there, if you can climb all the way up to the top of the mountain, look at the other side. It's all downhill. All downhill, baby. I promise you. Because if you can get to the point where exercise and eating healthy is it's just what you do. It's just who you are. It's just who you are. Because I know you have things in your life where you're like, oh, this is just me. I'm just a gun guy. I'm just a truck guy. I'm just a whatever. It doesn't matter. And it's just like kind of bred into your DNA, it feels like. Do you have to like tell yourself to like trucks or guns? I'm just giving you super generic examples, okay? But like you probably don't. That's just kind of who you are. If you can get to that point, it's 100 times easier. You don't have to mentally battle. You're not going to be perfect, by the way, but you don't have to. You just want to eat healthy things. You will just want to go exercise, and not because eating healthy things is fun, not because exercising is fun for the most part. It's because the reward on the back end, your body has done X so many times and got Y that you don't have to battle. It's like, oh yeah, when I do this, I get this. Just like work. You show up and you go to work over and over and over and over and over again. Why? Why don't you just say, I'm not going to work? Well, because every time you go to work and you get a paycheck and it happens over and over and over again, your body has created this conscious or subconscious loop where it goes, oh, when I go to work, I get paid and money is good because it allows me to do these things. Like, so then guess what? For most people, they're like, got to wake up and go to work. Most of the time, it's not this huge mental battle because they just want the result. It's the same thing with your training. Stop making it different. Stop making it this big, convoluted, complicated thing, because that's what the weak version of you wants. That's what the excuses want. They want it to be this like, oh, but it's different. It's not different. It's not different at all. You're making it different because you don't want to white knuckle it. You don't want to have a little bit of grit in the beginning. Maybe you're being weak. Maybe you're being a wuss. I don't know. But like, you got to get past it, and you have to tell yourself, I'm capable of doing this. I do it every day with work. I do it every day with other things in my life. And guys, why I hone in so much and do so many episodes where I cover this topics around this bubble is I'm on conversations every day, like 5 to 10 phone conversations or Zoom conversations with this community. I talk to more of I don't know what you want to call it, like a pool of the cops, firefighters, nurses, doctors, border patrol than all you guys. Okay. All over the States. And this is the stuff I hear. And so I'm trying to help you and break past these mental barriers. And I know it's possible because number one, we see people do it in our program all the time, and I've gone through it. And here's my last little thing I'll leave you on. You have a choice. You do. And really it's only 2 main choices. Like this, I really do believe this. I am firm in this. Choice number 1, you can hold on to the fact that it's different and that, you know, it's not for me and I don't really like working out, blah, blah, blah. And again, it is different for you. Maybe there's a spectrum. It's not just a black and white. Okay. You don't have to do this exercise or this, or if you're a runner, it doesn't matter. But can we just come to the agreement that if you're in this realm, the everyday hero community, you should be prioritizing your health, even just as a human being, but especially if you're in the community, you need to set an example. You are a leader. People look at you. Your family looks at you. You should be prioritizing your health and fitness to some capacity. So that means if you're super overweight or you're super out of shape or you're unfit for duty, unacceptable. Can we just agree? Okay. Now that we can agree on that, we have to take ownership and say, well, number one, I can kind of keep making excuses and I can make exercise a continuous chore. And sometimes I'll have these streaks where I'm like, you know what? Enough's enough. And I'm going to work out and I'm going to be really consistent for a few weeks. And then I'm going to start to slide backwards. And that happens over and over again. And I bet you, if you're listening to this, that's probably you or that's been you at some point. It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? Because when you say you're really going to do it and you're super motivated, you mean it. You really meant it. But then why are you where you are now? If you really meant it, I can tell you right now, it was a chore. It was something you were trying to avoid anyways. So every chance you got, you avoided it. That's number one. So good luck on that one. And that's me being sarcastic. Don't do that. Number two, which is the option I really hope you pick. Number one, if you do a program, you need to do it the right way. Whether you do it with us or you do it with somebody else, do it the right way. Because here's the thing. All the times you did in the past, you're probably winging it with your training and your nutrition. And so now you've created the loop in your body that says, exercise is hard. It's not even worth it because I don't get the results I want. Eating healthy is boring and it sucks and I have no social life. And that didn't even really work that well. And you're right. Your brain is right. And you know why? Because you did it the wrong way. What do you know? But if you did it the right way, like our clients, and you got really good results like our clients, do you think you would be more excited and believe a little bit more that the grit and the grinding through it was worth it? I would freaking hope so. And at that point, you start to create a loop in your brain where it goes, you know what? Exercise is worth it. And over again, after months and months, or maybe even years of hard work. Ooh, I know it's going to not overnight success. Sorry to burst your bubble. Guess what? It's going to become part of who you are. And that is the most beautiful point of that mountain, because of the tipping point and the other end is just, you're just a fit person and you just work out and that's just part of who you are. And in fact, you can't really imagine your life, what it would be like to not work out on a regular basis. And in general, you really like to eat healthy food. Doesn't mean you never eat crappy food, but if you went and binge drank or you ate a lot of fast food, you'd be like, man, I don't really feel good. I kind of prefer the healthy food. That's the secret. That's the end of the rainbow. Okay. That's where the freaking leprechaun is with the golden pot. Not really. That'd be creepy, but you get what I'm saying. Like that's where that is. I promise you, because I had to do that same thing for a long time after I was a wrestler. And after that, I looked at the gym as a chore. And honestly, I had to like sit there in the car, dry scoop pre-workout. This was back in like 2012 before it was even a thing. And like hype myself up to even go in the gym every time because I hated it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I felt like it was a chore. And then there was a shift that happened to me where I started to actually be on a program, see results, see my body change, and I became addicted, whatever you want to call it. It was like, dude, this is awesome. Whatever this is, I feel good. I'm more confident. I not even just the way I look, but just the way I carry myself. I show up differently. I'm more patient. I'm more loving. I want to be more kind. And I'm like, what is this? And then it just became my thing. And it's helped me ever since. And I'm telling you right now, it is the biggest game changer for me in my life. And I've seen clients come through our program and guess what? They were a little bit lost. They didn't really have a thing. And some of them were struggling a little bit with like where they were as far as, we've had people be like, I get angry really easy. They have a very high stress job, all these other things going on. And I could just tell their demeanor like 4 months later when they're regular to exercising that they're more patient. They tell me I'm more patient. I don't blow up on my kid as much or my wife, like a little more understanding. I feel like I carry myself different at work, like all positive things. So you have a choice. And the longer you make working out a chore, the longer you're going to struggle, period. And if you do make some progress, it's probably not going to last that long. It's not. I've seen it. I've been doing this for almost 14 years, and maybe there's a lot of people that have been doing it longer, but I think 14 years is long enough to see thousands of people come through, and the ones that make it a chore, they struggle. So don't do that. Hopefully this episode, little fire under your butt. Maybe you've been looking at your workout the wrong way. And And so if you guys found it helpful, I'm going to ask something of you. I should ask these in the beginning, but if you're still listening, can you like, comment, and subscribe? Okay. Like this episode, whether it is on social media, wherever you're viewing it, YouTube. If you can just drop a comment, let me know if it was helpful, and then subscribe. Subscribe to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We post these on YouTube. I put a lot of time, money, and effort into these to just sit here and scold you guys. No, I'm kidding. But to give you guys some value. And some of them, I come a little fiery like I did today because I want you to be successful. Everything I say is for your good. But here's the thing. You can listen to every episode and you can sit there and go, yeah, man, yeah, I'm really motivated, rah, 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 and then not take action and it literally doesn't mean crap. Or you can sit there and listen, another one or two choices, and you could be like, you know what? He's right. And I have to make enough progress to make this something that I actually look forward to. It's possible, I promise. I've taken some people where they told me, bro, I never will like the gym. Like it's impossible. A year later, part of their routine, it's who they are. I don't think they're ever going to go back. It's a good place to be, right? Love you guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you next time.